The day the aliens arrived changed everything. It was a clear morning in June when the massive ships appeared in Earth's sky. They did not attack. They did not land. They simply waited. After 3 days, they sent a message. They called themselves the Galactic Council, a group of 17 alien species who ruled the stars. They said they came in peace. They wanted to welcome humans to the wider universe. The world's leaders gathered quickly. They picked 2 people to meet the aliens first: William Collins and Susan Reed. William was a skilled diplomat who had solved many world problems. Susan was a smart military officer who could spot danger. Together they would speak for all humans. The alien ship sent down a small craft to pick them up. It landed in a field outside of New York. William and Susan walked inside, hearts beating fast. The doors closed and they felt the craft rise up toward the huge ship above. "Do you think they're really friendly?" Susan asked, checking her translator device one more time. William looked out the small window as Earth grew smaller below them. "I hope so. But remember what the president said: trust, but verify." The craft docked with the main ship. When the doors opened, they saw their first aliens. One looked like a giant insect with 4 arms. Another seemed made of glowing crystal. A third was like moving smoke in roughly human shape. "Welcome, Earth representatives," the insect-like alien said, through their translators. "I am High Counselor Zinthar. We are pleased to bring your species into the galactic community." The crystal being moved forward. "I am Lumita Prime. Your world is now under council protection. You should feel honored." William bowed slightly. "We thank you for this welcome. Earth is eager to learn and share with our new galactic neighbors." The aliens led them through long hallways with strange plants and flowing water. Other alien species watched them pass. Some made noises that sounded like laughter. "Your quarters are prepared," said Zinthar, stopping at a door. "Rest now. Tomorrow we will show you the council chambers." Their room was large and filled with Earth furniture. It had paintings of Earth scenes and even played Earth music. It seemed perfect, almost too perfect. "It's like a zoo exhibit," Susan whispered when they were alone. "Everything is Earth-like, but not quite right." William nodded. "The paintings are all famous landmarks, like they studied our tourist brochures." He looked up at the ceiling. "I wonder if they're watching us right." Now, for the next week they attended meetings and tours. The aliens showed them amazing technology: ships that bent space, machines that made food from air, medical tools that healed any wound. But when William or Susan asked questions about how these things worked, the aliens changed the subject. "Humans aren't ready for such knowledge," a smoke-like Vaporian told them. "Your brains are still developing, perhaps in a few hundred years." During a dinner with minor council members, Susan noticed something odd. An alien dropped its translator, and she heard it speak to another in its real language. Her military translator, which was more advanced than the council knew, caught fragments, amusing how they use metal tools still. Placed them in the special quarters with the hidden tests. Classified as barely intelligent, but entertaining, Susan kept her face calm and told William later in their quarters. He wasn't surprised. "I found this," he said, showing her a hidden panel in the wall. Behind it was a device with a lens watching them. "They're studying us like animals." More. Humans arrived from Earth over the next month. 50 people chosen to represent humanity: scientists, soldiers, artists, and leaders. All were given nice rooms and treated politely, but Susan and William started to notice patterns. The council members never shared real knowledge. They patted humans on the head for simple achievements. They spoke slowly as if to children. When humans weren't around, they laughed. In the 3rd month, they were allowed to attend a full council meeting. Hundreds of aliens filled a massive room. At the center, the High Council sat in tall chairs. William was invited to speak about Earth. He stood proud and described human achievements: art, music, science, and exploration. He talked about human dreams to reach the stars and learn from others. He asked for fair trade and exchange of ideas. While he spoke, he saw council members passing notes. Some weren't listening. One played with a small device. When he finished, there was polite applause. Then Counselor Zextil of the Magravi, a tall blue alien with 6 eyes, leaned to another and spoke. He didn't know his translator was still on. "Watch the monkey perform tricks for resources," he said. The room went silent. William stood frozen. Every human heard it through their translators. Susan stood up, her face red with anger. "What did you say?" she demanded. Zextil looked surprised, then annoyed. A simple misunderstanding. Translation error. But it wasn't. Back in their quarters, William and Susan found a hidden computer terminal. Susan used her military skills to break into it. What they found shocked them. Reports about humans labeled them as amusing primitives and simple-minded. Plans showed how the Council would slowly take Earth's resources while giving little in return. Maps detailed Earth's weak points. Worst of all, they found videos of themselves being shown to alien audiences as entertainment. "They never respected us," William said, his voice tight. "This whole thing is a joke to them." Susan nodded, her mind already planning. Then it's time they learned that humans don't like being laughed at. They contacted Earth that night, sending everything they found. The response would change the galaxy forever, though the Council, in their arrogance, couldn't imagine how. The humans smiled politely in meetings the next day. They asked simple questions. They acted exactly as expected. But inside, they were planning. The Council thought they knew humans. They were wrong. The video spread across Earth in hours. Everyone saw it. The alien counselor calling William a monkey while he spoke. News channels played it over and over. People were angry, very angry. 6 months had passed since first contact. 50 humans now lived on the Council station, and 200 more worked on smaller alien outposts. All of them started paying closer attention to how they were treated. Susan Reed gathered evidence quietly. She told other humans to record everything. They found hidden cameras in all their rooms. They discovered that the luxury food they received was actually what aliens fed to pets. The medical exams they underwent were not routine checks, but experiments. Back on Earth, President Olivia Grant called an emergency meeting. The room was packed with world leaders, generals, and scientists. "This is what they really think of us," she said, playing more leaked videos. In one, aliens placed bets on how a human would solve a simple puzzle. In another, they discussed humans, as if they were talking about trained animals. "But we need their technology," said the Chinese president. "We are still new to space travel." An older man stood up. He was Joseph Miller, head of Earth's secret science team. For years, his group had worked in hidden labs away from the public eye. "Actually," he said with a small smile, "we're not as far behind as they think." On the Council station, William was preparing for another meeting. Today he would again ask for fair trade routes. Last time, they had just laughed and offered Earth outdated ships that other species no longer wanted. As he walked to the meeting hall, he noticed something strange. The aliens were watching him more closely than usual. Some seemed nervous. Inside the hall, High Counselor Zinthar waved him to a seat. "Ambassador Collins, before you speak, we would like to address the misunderstanding from our previous session." William sat down, face calm. "I'm listening." Counselor Zextil's comment was inappropriate. "He has been disciplined." Zinthar's insect-like mandibles clicked. "We wish to make amends by offering Earth a technology package." They showed William pictures of the technology. It looked impressive, but Susan had taught him what to look for. These were old models, already replaced by better versions throughout Council space. "Thank you for the offer," William said politely. "I will inform Earth." That night, Susan came to his room with news. "They're worried," she whispered. "I got into more of their files. They're watching us because they think we're hiding something." "Are we?" William asked. She smiled. "Let's just say President Grant has been busy." The next day, a new council member arrived. He was from the Altharan species, tall with purple skin and 3 eyes. He supervised the Galactic exhibition, where all species showcased their best technology. "Earth has been granted a display area," he told William and Susan, "in the Emerging Intelligences section." When they visited the exhibition hall, they understood why this was an insult. The Emerging Intelligences section was filled with simple machines built by children of advanced species and toys made by the semi-intelligent pets of the Altherans. "This is where they want us to display our best technology?" William asked, anger in his voice. The Altheran nodded. "Consider it an honor. Most new species wait decades for any display space." Two Earth scientists, Dr. Alan West and Major Patricia Downs, arrived the next day with Earth's contribution, a small fusion reactor that could power a city for a year. When they saw where it would be displayed, they tried to move it to a more appropriate section. "This belongs with the energy technology exhibits," Alan said, pointing to where advanced species had their power systems. When they tried to move it, Council security stepped in. 4 large aliens surrounded them. "Your assigned area is non-negotiable," the security chief said, pushing Alan back. Patricia stepped forward. "Take your hands off him." The security chief grabbed her arm. Patricia, trained in combat, reacted instantly. She flipped the alien over her shoulder, sending him crashing into a display case. Alarms sounded. More security arrived. William and Susan ran to the scene just as Patricia and Alan were being handcuffed. "This is outrageous," William shouted. "They have diplomatic immunity." "Not during security incidents," the Altheran said coldly. "They will be detained until we determine if their violent tendencies are a threat." That night, while the 2 scientists sat in a holding cell, Susan received an encrypted message from Earth. She read it, then showed it to William. His eyes widened. "Are they sure about this?" he asked. She nodded. "Completely. And there's more." She showed him another file she had stolen from the Council database. It classified humans as entertaining primitives with limited potential and detailed a plan called the Developing Species Management Protocol. The plan described how to keep humanity dependent on the Council while slowly taking Earth's resources and using humans for genetic experiments. "They never planned to treat us as equals," William said, his voice hard. "Ever." The next morning, William requested an emergency council session. All 17 major species sent representatives. The room buzzed with curiosity. William stood at the podium, calm and serious. "I have been instructed to deliver a message from Earth. As of today, humanity is severing all diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council." The room erupted in noise. Zinthar raised all 4 arms for silence. "This is an overreaction to a minor incident," he said. "The Council has already offered compensation." "Our decision is final," William replied. "All humans will withdraw from Council space within 24 hours. Any Council ships approaching Earth after that time will be considered hostile." The crystal being Lumita Prime laughed. The sound was like breaking glass. "And how will you enforce this? Your world has no defense against even one of our smaller vessels." William smiled for the first time. It was not a friendly smile. "That's what you think," he said. "You should check your long-range sensors more carefully." As the Council members received urgent updates from their ships, their mockery turned to confusion. Something was happening around Earth. Something they had not expected from simple humans. The game had changed, and the Council was no longer laughing. The Council chamber was in chaos. Aliens shouted and argued as reports came in from their ships near Earth. William Collins stood calmly at the center of the storm. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Zinthar, waving a data pad showing strange readings. "These energy signatures around your planet were not there before." "We've been busy," William said simply. Susan Reed walked into the chamber with 24 armed humans behind her. All had been hidden throughout the station, waiting for this moment. "We are leaving now," she announced. "Dr. West and Major Downs will be released immediately." The Council security chief stepped forward. "You have no authority to make demands." Susan held up a small device. "This station has 3 main power junctions. We placed explosives on all of them while you were busy laughing at us. Release our people or we shut down your station." The Council had no choice. They released the 2 scientists, and all humans gathered at their ships. Before leaving, William handed Zinthar a data drive. "A parting gift," he said. "Something to remember us by. As their ships pulled away from the station, the council members viewed the contents of the drive. It showed video of council members mocking humans, now edited together with clear translations. At the end was a message. This has been sent to every species in council space. Now everyone knows how you treat others. Back on Earth, Admiral George Rivera stood in a hidden mountain base. Around him, massive screens showed the locations of all council ships. For years, this facility had existed in complete secrecy. Not even the United Nations knew about it. "Are the platforms in position?" he asked his second-in-command. "Yes, sir. All 137 defense platforms are active and cloaked." The admiral nodded. These weapons had been built in deep space, away from prying eyes. They used technology that Earth scientists had developed on their own, technology the Council thought impossible for primitives to create. In Washington, President Grant addressed the world. "For 6 months we played along with the Council's game. We pretended to be less advanced than we are. We acted grateful for their scraps. That ends today." She showed the world the truth about the Council, their plans to use Earth as a resource mine, their mockery, their lies. "Humanity will stand on its own," she declared. "We have activated protocol silence, no communication with the Council, no trade, no contact of any kind." As William, Susan, and the other humans returned to Earth, strange things began happening. In space. The Council sent ships to scan Earth from a distance, but they detected nothing unusual. Then they sent ships closer, and those ships disappeared. On the Council station, Zinthar called an emergency meeting. "3 vessels have vanished near Earth," he reported. "Their last transmissions mentioned energy readings unlike anything we have seen before." The smoke-like Vaporian representative drifted forward. "Impossible. Our technology is thousands of years ahead of theirs. They cannot have weapons that affect our ships." "Then explain this," Zinthar said, showing images of empty space where their ships should be. The Council sent messages to Earth. No response. They sent small drones to take pictures. The drones never returned. They offered apologies and new trade deals. Silence. In a secret meeting room beneath the White House, Susan briefed the president and world leaders. "The Council is confused and worried," she said. "They never imagined we could shut them out so completely." "What about our special project?" asked the president. Joseph Miller, the science director, smiled. "Ready ahead of schedule. The Council gave us the final piece of the puzzle when they showed us their faster-than-light drives. We already had most of it figured out, but seeing theirs helped us solve the last problem." He showed them images of massive ships being built in hidden facilities on the far side of the moon and deep in the asteroid belt. "The first 10 ships are ready," he said. "Not the old models the Council saw, but our real fleet." Lieutenant Reed had brought back one more important thing from the Council station, their species database. She showed it to the leaders now. Humans are officially designated as entertaining primitives with limited potential. We're classified, below even their pet species. She pointed to another part of the file. "This is their developing species management protocol. It's a step-by-step plan to keep us dependent on them, while they slowly take what they want from Earth." Admiral Rivera stood up. "With your permission, Madam President, I'd like to show them exactly how primitive we are." The president thought for a moment, then shook her head. "Not yet. Let them wonder. Let them worry. We'll use this time to get even stronger." And so began Earth's great silence. For months, then a year, humans said nothing to the galaxy. Council ships that came too close simply vanished. Probes found nothing but empty space where their ships had been. On the edges of the solar system, hidden, telescopes watched as Council species argued among themselves. Some blamed others for losing Earth. Some demanded military action. Some wanted to apologize properly. None of them knew what was happening behind the silent barrier Earth had created. None of them saw the massive construction projects in the asteroid belt or the new bases on Mars and Europa. None of them detected the ships practicing maneuvers behind Neptune or the new weapons being tested in deep space. Dr. West and his team made breakthrough after breakthrough. Without having to share with the Council, human science advanced rapidly. The aliens had shown humans a glimpse of what was possible, and that was enough. Human creativity did the rest. Each night, Susan Reed looked up at the stars from her home in Colorado. The Council was out there, probably still laughing at the primitive humans who had run away. "Laugh while you can," she whispered to the sky. "You have no idea what's coming." Inside a hidden shipyard in the asteroid belt, workers put the finishing touches on the largest vessel humans had ever built. On its side, in simple letters, was its name. Remember. The Council had mocked humanity. Soon, they would learn their mistake. 5 years passed. Earth said nothing to the galaxy. The barrier around the solar system remained, swallowing any Council ship that came too close. The Council tried everything: diplomatic messages, gifts, threats. Humans answered none of them. On the Council station, the mood had changed. No one laughed about humans anymore, now they worried. Reports came from ships at the edge of the silent zone. Strange energy readings, massive objects moving in Earth's outer solar system, flashes of light that their science could not explain. "We need to know what they're doing," said Zinthar to the full Council. His once bright shell had dulled with stress. 5 years of silence is unprecedented. Councillor Zextil, who had once mocked William Collins, shifted nervously. "Perhaps we should prepare for war. The humans might be building weapons." The crystal being, Lumida Prime, glowed with disagreement. "War against a species we know nothing about? We don't even know if our weapons would work against whatever they have built." Behind Earth's barrier, humanity had been busy. The shipyards in the asteroid belt now produced vessels that would have amazed the Council. The hidden bases on Jupiter's and Saturn's moons housed research labs that pushed science beyond what even the oldest Council species had achieved. Admiral Rivera stood on the bridge of Remember, now the flagship of Earth's fleet. Next to him, Susan Reed looked out at the stars. "The Council is getting desperate," she said. "They've sent 3 diplomatic missions this month alone." "Are they ready for what we have planned?" the Admiral asked. Susan smiled. No one could be ready for this. In the White House War Room, President Grant met with Earth's new allies. They were not human. They came from the dark spaces beyond Council territory, species that the Council had also mocked, pushed aside, or tried to control long ago. The Drachnid representative, a tall being with gray skin, nodded his large head. "Our people are in position. When Earth moves, we move." The Keldari ambassador, floating in her water tank, bubbled agreement. "The Council ignored our warnings about humans. Their arrogance has not changed in 1,000 years." President Grant looked at the star map showing the positions of their combined fleets. "Then we are ready. Begin Phase 1. That day, the silence ended. But not how the Council expected. The Council received no grand message from Earth. Instead, small, fast ships appeared near the outer worlds of 16 different Council species, not near Earth at all. These ships broadcast a simple message, but not to the Council directly. They spoke to the people of each world. "Greetings from Earth. We offer friendship and fair trade. Your Council has hidden the truth from you. We invite your representatives to Earth to see for yourselves." The Council was thrown into chaos. These human ships had appeared from nowhere, bypassing all patrol vessels. Their technology allowed them to jump through space in ways Council science said was impossible. "Stop this at once," Zinthar demanded, sending urgent messages to Earth. "All diplomatic contact must go through the Council." Earth ignored him. Instead, more ships appeared, offering direct trade deals to worlds that the Council had kept dependent, sharing technology that the Council had kept for themselves. Zinthar called an emergency meeting. Only half the members showed up. The others were too busy dealing with their own people, who suddenly had many questions about why the Council had lied about humans. "This is an outrage," Zinthar said to those who came. "The humans are breaking every protocol. They must be stopped." New voice spoke from the doorway. Why? Because we refused to bow to those who mocked us? William Collins walked into the chamber. The room fell silent. He looked different now, confident, strong, with eyes that had seen beyond council space. Ambassador. Collins, Zinthar said carefully. We welcome your return. I'm not an ambassador anymore, William said. I'm here as a messenger. Today, Earth is announcing the formation of the Free Systems Alliance. He showed them images of Earth ships meeting with vessels from 3 other advanced species. Species the Council had thought were myths or had died out long ago. While you were busy laughing at us, we were making friends, William said. Real friends, who treat us as equals. The Council members whispered among themselves. This was worse than they had feared. Humans had not just advanced, they had found allies. What are your demands? Asked Lumida Prime. We have none, William replied. We don't want anything from the Council. We simply wanted you to know that your time as the only power in the galaxy is over. As William spoke, hundreds of ships appeared at the edges of Council space, not attacking, just watching. They used jump technology that the Council couldn't track. They had shields the Council couldn't scan. They represented power the Council couldn't match. Back on Earth, Susan Reed supervised the arrival of the first non-Council visitors. Ships from 20 different worlds landed in the new spaceport built in the Arizona desert. These were people curious about the humans who had stood up to the Council. Welcome to Earth, Susan said to the visitors. We have much to share with you. The visitors looked around in wonder. They had been told humans were primitive, yet here they saw technology as advanced as anything in Council space, and some things beyond it. The Council said you were simple creatures, said a visitor from a world called Trellis. They told us you needed their guidance. Susan smiled. The Council says many things. Now you can see the truth for yourselves. On the Remember, Admiral Rivera received word from their allies. The Drachnid and Keldari ships had taken position near key Council worlds, not threatening, just present. Should we proceed to Phase 2? His officer asked. The Admiral looked at the reports coming in. Council worlds were already beginning to question their leaders. Some had opened direct talks with Earth. The Council's power was cracking without a single shot being fired. No, he said after a moment. I think Phase 1 is working better than we expected. Let them worry about what Phase 2 might be. Far away, on the Council station, Zinthar watched as his carefully ordered galaxy changed before his eyes. The humans he had dismissed as amusing primitives had become the center of a new power in just 5 years. All because the Council had laughed at the wrong species. 1 year after Phase 1 began, the galaxy looked very different. The Council still existed, but its power had shrunk. Many worlds now dealt directly with Earth and the Free Systems Alliance. New trade routes bypassed Council space entirely. Species that had been kept apart now met and shared ideas. On Earth, the Arizona spaceport had grown into a massive center for galactic commerce. Ships from 100 worlds came and went daily. Humans had become known across the stars not as primitives, but as innovative traders who dealt fairly with all. Frank Miller, Earth's new chief diplomat, prepared for an important meeting. His office overlooked the spaceport, where visitors of all shapes and sizes moved about. Frank had never seen an alien until 6 years ago. Now he negotiated with them daily. The Council representatives have arrived, his assistant told him. They're waiting in the main hall. Frank nodded. Have them brought up. This meeting was special. For the first time since the silence began, high-ranking Council members had come to Earth, not to make demands, but to ask for something. 3. Council members entered Frank's office, Zinthar, whose shell had faded even more, a new Vaporian named Mistweaver, and a small furred being from a species called the Tlexu. Welcome to Earth, Frank said politely. Please sit. They sat nervously, looking around at the simple but elegant room. No fancy technology was on display. Earth no longer needed to show off. "We come with a formal message from the full council," Zinthar said, placing a data drive on the table. "A formal apology for our past treatment of humanity, and an invitation to join the council as a full member with equal standing." Frank picked up the drive but did not plug it in. "Thank you. I will pass this to our leadership." "May we know when to expect an answer?" asked Mistweaver, his vapor form swirling with anxiety. "Soon," Frank said simply. After they left, Linda Howard, Earth's chief scientist, came into the office. She had been watching from another room. "So they finally broke," she said, looking at the data drive. "Took them long enough." Frank smiled. 6 years isn't so long in galactic terms. Some species hold grudges for centuries. "Will we accept their offer?" Linda asked. "What do you think?" She thought for a moment. "I think we're better off without them. The alliance is growing stronger every day. Most council worlds trade with us directly now anyway." Frank nodded. "My thoughts exactly. But we'll let the president decide." In the White House, President Grant met with her advisors. William Collins and Susan Reed were there, along with Admiral Rivera and representatives from their alien allies. "The council has formally apologized and invited Earth to join as a full member," President Grant told them, showing the data drive. "Opinions?" William spoke first. 6 years ago, I would have been thrilled. Now, I see it for what it is. Fear. They're afraid of losing more power. Susan nodded. The alliance already includes 37 worlds. Most of them left council protection willingly. The Drachnid representative rumbled agreement. "The council fears what comes next. They hope to control you by bringing you inside their system." President Grant looked to Admiral Rivera. "What's the military perspective?" "We no longer need them," he said simply. "Our technology has moved beyond theirs in several key areas, and with our alliance partners we have more ships than they do." The president turned to a quiet man sitting in the corner. He was John Bennett, a farmer from Iowa, who had been chosen to represent ordinary citizens in these meetings. "Mr. Bennett, what does Earth think?" John cleared his throat. "Madam President, folks back home don't much care about the council anymore. We're doing fine without them. But they do believe in second chances, if the apology is genuine." "President?" Grant nodded and thought for a moment. "Then let's test if it is genuine. Frank, prepare our response." 2 days later, Frank Miller met again with the council representatives. This time, they gathered in the main meeting hall of the spaceport. With news cameras present, "Earth has considered your offer," Frank told them as billions across the galaxy watched. "We respectfully decline membership at this time." The council members looked shocked. Zinthar's mandibles clicked rapidly. "But we offered full membership. Equal standing, everything you wanted 6 years ago." "6 years is a long time," Frank replied calmly. "Earth and humanity have found our own path forward." "What would make you reconsider?" asked the Tlexu representative, fur standing on end. Frank handed them a data drive. "These are our terms for normalized relations. Not membership, but partnership between equals. Study them carefully." After the council members left, Susan Reed joined Frank at the window overlooking the spaceport. Ships were taking off and landing, human vessels alongside those of their new allies. "Do you think they'll accept our terms?" she asked. Frank shrugged. "It doesn't really matter anymore, does it? The galaxy has already changed." Later that evening, Admiral Rivera stood on the bridge of the Remember, now just one ship in a vast fleet. Next to him was Captain Richard Parker, a young officer who had never known the time when humans were mocked. "Is it true the council once thought we were primitives?" Richard asked. The Admiral smiled. "Hard to believe now, isn't it? They thought we were simple creatures who stumbled onto space travel by accident. What changed their minds?" "We did," the Admiral said, looking out at the stars. "By refusing to play their game. By showing them that humanity doesn't need their approval." Far across the galaxy, in the council chamber, the representatives debated Earth's terms. Some argued they were too harsh. Others said they had no choice but to accept Zinthar, who had once laughed at humans, now spoke in their defense. "We were wrong about them," he told the council. "We have been wrong about many species. Perhaps it is time for the council itself to change." The vote was close, but in the end they accepted Earth's terms, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. The galaxy had moved on without them. On Earth, life continued. The stars, that had once seemed so far away, were now full of friends and opportunities. Humans traveled freely among them, respected, not feared, welcomed, not mocked, all because they had refused to accept being treated as less than they were. All because, when laughed at, they had not laughed back. They had simply walked away and built something better.